25年間熟成されたダンディライオン酒をベースにショコアトルワインを7分の1混ぜて、ザイトゥン糖炭酸水をグラスに半分。
3つとも甘いベース。芳醇な塩を小さじ1杯。
はあ、想像する。
ナドくらいならではの一杯を作れるようになったのも、この前ネフェルさんが香料を送ってくれたおかげよ。
あれはほんの気持ちだ。イエランさんが喜んでくれたならそれだけで十分さ。また今度送るよ。
ありがとう。でもこの香料は一度味わうだけで十分よ。あまりたくさんもらっても私一人じゃ使い切れないわ。それに私の同僚たちもこの風味には慣れていないの。せっかくもらっても使わないんじゃちょっともったいないから。
リーウェ総務士の人たちが気に入らなくても仕方ないさ。ナドくらいのやり方がそもそもあの人たちの好みじゃないからね。でもイエランさんはすっかり慣れたように見えるけど。
慣れたというほどではないわ。ただ嫌ではないだけ。それにたまには新しいものを体験してみるのも悪くないでしょ。
イエランさんのそういう態度、私は好きだよ。商売がすごくやりやすい。リーウェ総務士の連中もイエランさんみたいだったらいいんだけどね。
ここに来るといつもその話。総務士ばかり狙うのはやめたら。もう何年も経っているのに総務士どころかリーウェにすら爪痕を残せていないでしょ。
リーウェにはこんな言葉があるだろ。千里の道も一歩から。やってみなきゃわからない。
無駄な努力はやめて。君がどんなに優秀でもリーウェに手を出すことはできないわ。
それは私に対する警告かい？
ただのアドバイスよ。
少し買いかぶりすぎだよイエランさん。自由に使える人でもほとんどないのにそんな大それたことできるわけがない。強いて言うなら私の言うことをよく聞いてくれる子が一人いるだけ。おバカさんだから結局私が世話をしてやらないといけないんだけど。
へえ。つまり敵歌集で釣りをしていた画家や軽作層で豆腐を作っている見習い、万民堂の手伝いをしに行こうとした人を、リーユエに出没しているそういった人たちをネフェルさんはご存知でないと？
リーユエ港にはあらゆる船が集まる。行き交う人たちも数知れず。そんな素性の知れない連中私が知るわけがないだろう。それにしてもすごい記憶力だねイエランさん。リーユエ総務士はイエランさんのおかげでかなり楽できてるはずだよ。
ご丁寧にどうも。楽とは言えないけどネフェルさんがいるおかげで毎日の仕事がそれなりに充実しているわ。
そうかい？なら今日は総務士から離れて多少は仕事から逃れられたみたいでよかった。もう一杯飲むかい？私が作るよ。二人の祝日に乾杯。
Yep. I'd actually seen it before. I think this was because I asked to like refresh it. Like I went to the wish thing on Narukami, and then I saw Nefer was up. I'm like, oh, cool, Nefer's up. So I thought it'd be a new one, but it seems like not. So I guess maybe is it the wish thing is just how you can what is it, relive previous ones, or it could be actually no. I guess she has two. But yeah, I did the top. Just recently did the top one, so I guess there is a second one. So I guess maybe it's random. Maybe if you select because you can wish for a specific character, so maybe they just randomly pick one, or maybe it randomly picks one that you've already seen. I was kind of hoping that it would like force a new one, although perhaps an effort just only has two. Maybe an effort only has two, so they just chose a random one that I've seen. Maybe if I chose like Flynn's or Yanfei or Skirk or something. Oh hey, yeah, Mika, he's right there. Maybe if I had wished for them instead, it would have forced them to appear.
これでよし。旅人さん、こんにちは。まさかこんなところでお会いできるなんて。あ、でもよく考えたら、そこまで意外なことではなかったですね。具体的にいつ着くかはわからないけど、あなたが灘くらいに向かってい
Yeah,
るって、
I'm curious how they
ジン団
decide
長も言ってい
on
ま
how
した
many to
し。
do because I know that Hazo also had a shitload as well, and like there was even kind of like a running theme behind one of it, behind some of his where they all like had to do with a particular case he was working. But like Hazo has like five or something, so I don't know how they decide on it. Maybe it's random. Maybe they just come up with they maybe there are some characters that are like, oh, actually we have some cool things that we never really got to talk about when they were there.
ですが、灘
I'm
く
not
らい
sure
に
how they
ついて
decide on
す
it.
ぐお会いできるとは思いもしませんでした。そうです。ファルカ大団長はあなたに手紙を送りましたよね。その時、モンドにもあなたの近況を綴った手
It could
紙
be
を
like
送ってい
obviously
た
for
んです。
Mika, Mika is in the Knights of Onius. We're meeting them and Barca, and now he just references Barca, so it would be crazy for for Mika at least to appear. Although I'm surprised about Yanfei. Like I saw Yanfei there, I'm like, what? Like, how does a Leeway lawyer and a non-human Leeway lawyer like come to Nod Cry? So that'll be interesting to see how they appear. And then because this is just the anecdotes that have existed, they have the old ones too. So it's not like the old ones go away. And I imagine for new players, they could still have a chance of like running into Hazo in Inazuma. So they might not necessarily be restricted to just Nod Cry. So it could just be that they had just come up with an idea and they're like, hey, I have some cool idea. Like we haven't seen this character in a while. Let's write a few scenes with them. Which I do appreciate. Because it's nice to see characters come back and not being forgotten. Because it's just like it makes it feel like the developers actually care to a degree. Obviously, they care for money, but it's just a little extra layer of care where like, oh cool, like they treat their game well, they treat their characters well.
騎士団のみんなでどうやってあなたを支援しようか考えたんですが、大団長の手紙にすべて手配してあるからお前たち何もしなくていいと書いてありまして。
Yeah, she is a weird one. Like she's an outrider, so you could kind of that's kind of the equivalent to like a scout. So it's like it's understandable that's kind of more of a loner type job. And honestly, yeah, it is kind of weird that we have like Lisa had her whole quest where we got her Sumeru skin. Kaya got his quest with his new skin. Um, Jean is just really hot, so that like that's all we really need. But I mean, being a 5-star, she also got a character quest. Barbara kind of was wrapped into Jean's um, in the summer event, the very first summer event. So that got her some shit. And I think she also has a hangout event. And then same for like, yeah, realistically, that was the kind of like you would think there'd be something like that. I think actually she might have appeared with Cole, or maybe Cole just mentioned her. Because I think Cole did mention she like wanted to visit. Oh wait, no. I think Cole did visit Mondstadt during one of the Windbloom festivals. I think there was a seasonal event in Mondstadt that had Cole appear in Mondstadt. Maybe it's been a while, so I've forgotten, but maybe that happened. In which case, then yeah, sure. But yeah, like I don't really. Amber really hasn't had a I don't think Amber has a hangout event. So like and like I'm only thinking kind of like of the very base characters, the ones that appeared in like 1.0. So like Noelle has two hangout events. Like Noelle had two hangout events. Zhang Ling, I think, had a hangout event and a little quest about her. Like pretty much everyone got something at some point, except for Amber.
真面目な時のパルカ大団長は頼りになりますからね。そこはみんな信じています。ですが、何か困ったことがあって、セピロス騎士団の助けが。
Yeah, I had some hope for them, like because like they first came out and I was like, oh, that's really cool, and then they released some more.
いつでも力になりますよ。
Yeah, I think so. And then they released some more, and then they kind of released a few more, and then yeah, like if Lynette was the last one, then. And I mean, obviously that would have to be Fontaine, but that means we had like an entire Natland without it, and like it's all the time. Like who knows? And I can't even remember which patch it was in either. So if it was early Fontaine, I don't even know if it's 2 or 3. Like it was a big pile of them at once. It was like 5 or something at once, and then they were like releasing a few every now and then, which was cool. And. I hope not. I hope that maybe they're just kind of like waiting until they have more 4 stars, because obviously the whole point of them was that they were only 4-star characters, so they essentially acted like character quests for these characters. And so that's why I really like them, because like the character quest for 5 stars, gave you a little more. It fleshed out maybe the lore, fleshed out the story, or a little bit more about the character. And then the hangout events basically did the same thing except for 4 stars, which is great because like 4 stars, typically are never really. Yeah. Some were funny, some were like heartfelt, but they were still enjoyable. And I like the whole branching pattern. And maybe that's it. Maybe it just took too much effort. Maybe it takes too much effort to do that. And they were like, well, and they have the metrics, so maybe they saw the metrics and they saw that like no one was doing them, and so they decided not to bother. But generally, I would still recommend creating more, because like I imagine it's a kind of a pain in the ass to actually like animate this stuff. You actually have to have the characters, you have to animate them, you have to have the quest markers, you have to have like a variety of endings and stuff. So it's definitely more involved than like other stuff. Whereas like rather than just writing one quest from start to finish, and then I mean maybe these anecdotes are kind of just their way around it. Maybe they're decided, you know what, we can't think of stories for everybody, not every character. Yeah, and we generally don't have that many 5 stars or 4 stars too. Yeah, Lynette. Oh, yeah, they gave Kyle with his skin. Although that must have been pretty late. Well, I mean, I'm fine with them having 5 stars every single patch, although they usually don't. But obviously, like when there's a new area, obviously you're going to have a new 5-star, and like new characters. Like obviously, you're going to a new area, you should have new characters. So, oh yeah, Aina's in the next banner. That was it. And so they did introduce a 4-star in the as They did release the 4-star Ino, and I mean, like, we have Ian Sun, we have Aoife, we have Dahlia, so like it's not like they're not releasing 4-stars. Like we do get them, but they are definitely less common, which is fine basically because it's like every other patch on average. It's kind of like we get a 4-star, so like that's fine because obviously you want 5-stars. Like 5-stars are more powerful. Sure, 4-stars can be comparable if you get max constellations, but like yeah. Jehoda, I like Jehoda as a character. She's funny. But like, there's lots of characters. Well, I mean, I'm fine with them saying, "Nah, let's not have an Ino one," because like Ineffa's character quest. Actually, no, Ineffa's character quest didn't involve Ino at all because it released before Ino came out. Or actually, wait. Well, no, it's part of the crumb cake thing. Yeah, it's part of the crumb cake factory uh, faction thing. Will be like Ineffa's / Ino's character quest. And Ian Son was kind of included in Varessa's and kind of included in the her clan's thingy. And I guess he got his one too. He got one with that like the ghost Saurian. So I guess they are kind of getting involved in stuff. And of course he was the judge for the recent interlude, I think. So they are including them in the main story. But it would be nice still if we just had a few more stuff and it's like they're kind of just wrapping up character quests with their tribes, which makes it tough when you have like multiple 5-stars. Like Kachina, for instance, didn't really get her own character quest because she wasn't the 5-star of her tribe, and so we got a Kachina, but we really didn't know much of. We didn't get her own like special, unique to her thing. Really, like he was the one. He was the one like speaking to the Saurian ghost. I thought a lot. And I don't think it. I mean, I do remember him. But yeah, it would be nice. Like I do kind of wish they would do more hangout events. I did like them. I did like the storytelling method. That was pretty cool. Yeah, but like Milani, like she didn't have her own separate thing. Because like when we go to the tribes, Milani had her own tribal quest, and Jillinan was the tribe of the Echoes. But like, so the tribe of the Echoes quest, the quest line for that tribe, the reputation thing, was all about Jillinan. Like ended with Jillinan. So Kachina never really had an involvement. Didn't have her own like character quest type thing. Because she's a 4-star and like she was heavily involved in the story. So it's not like we don't really know who she is, but similarly, she didn't have her own like separate thing. Whereas like we learned something unique about each one of them in these quests, which is understandable because they just haven't done these. And it does seem that like didn't we have the anecdotes like a year ago? They first brought them out a year ago. Or was it? Yeah, it was maybe a year ago because it was like an anniversary thing or something. So you got a few Amber ones, and then they decided to bring them back. And this seems to be kind of like, I mean, this is definitely easier. It's definitely easier to write a little tiny skit where they can just kind of update us with them and just kind of remind us of their existence and stuff. But it would be nice for some of them to have like an actual proper hangout event where we do a little more of a deep dive into their life and all that shit. Oh yeah, got that. Some resin. Oh, there's Flynn's one over here. Up or down? Looks like the edge of a cliff, so he's probably up. Ooh, candy. Oh yeah, shit, the theater. I really gotta do. I rarely ever do the abyss because I'm lazy. Oh, he's down. God damn it. Spiralibus is just boring, and there's nothing special about it. So,
逃げ道はありません。ひゅっはっせってふんせっと
because like, okay, what the fuck? Yeah, like Spiralibus, like the only thing you get is you get like Primo Gems, which is obviously good. Everyone likes Primo Gems, but like it's just Primo Gems and like relics and artifacts, which is like. I still speak to this thing. Have to guide it. Oh, buddy. Do it? Ow. What do I need to do? I have this little ball. Maybe I need to ball somewhere. Oh, wait, no, wait. Maybe that's it. Maybe I need to... That's not it. Ow. I thought so too, but... Oh, I see after. Okay. Yeah, I was doing it too early then. I wish I could look downwards when I'm doing this. Okay. I thought it was ahead of time. I thought you had to jump at. Fuck. Candy. What the fuck's this ball for? Oh, is that one? Okay. I was gonna say I thought it was one of those cores that I had to like insert into something, but it's just to. Oh, this guy's mad. Let's give him a shot. Okay, anyway, buttons.
This すごい手際の良さですね、イネファさん。僕一人ではとっくにお手上げ。もしこのまま治らなかったら、僕の手元にあるランプを吊るすことになっていたかもしれません。以前アイノがライトキーパーの皆さんに配線の基本的な修理方法を教えると提案したことがあります。そうすれば今後は街灯が故障するたびにアイノに連絡して、私が到着するまでただ待っている必要がなくなりますから。必ずしもそうではありません。厳密には街灯の明かりを維持することがライトキーパー本来の責務です。空爆機がまだ普及していなかった時代は街灯に普通のオイルランプが使われており、専門の方がつけたり消したりしていました。夜道は危険ですからランプを持たなくてはなりません。そのためランプを片手に持って戦うことに長けたライトキーパーがその責務を担うようになりました。 ですがご覧の通り、空爆で動くこの種の街灯は、そのため、現在は街灯が故障した場合、恥ずかしながら専門家が来る。
少し前にアイノが勉強会を開いたのですが、会の途中で緊急の。
僕は最後までいましたよ。途中退席なんて開催者に対して。
はい。ですがフリンズさんは持ち込んだ甘い私もクッキーを食べ続けるアイノを止めることに手一杯で、次に勉強会をするときはアイノの気をそらすようなお菓子やおもちゃを持ち込まないでください。
ええ。
ちゃんとした文章でお答えください。前回はお菓子を持ってこないとだけ約束して、代わりにおもちゃで。
わかりました。次はお菓子やおもちゃと。
よろしくお願いします。では今度またアイノが機械工学の授業をすることになりましたら。
旅人さん、甘いものやおもちゃ、モフモフした動物以外に愛野さんが夢中になるものは何かありません？誰か。ああ、思いつきました。ネフェルさんに頼んで。もちろんですよ。僕はただ知識の海を一緒に泳いでくれる方。愛野さんによる知識の洗礼を。ヤフォダさんは愛野さんと仲がいいですからね。
清掃をかい。
手加減なしだぜ。
じゃあ行くよ。ドリフト
権限。雨描きがたし歌よ錦となれ。
痛がっちゃいない。どの目が出るかしら。
炎の盾5時の炎。はっせいとさやせいふっやさ却下する。落ちるがいい。貫こう。さいさゆるこう。助立ち参上。それ。
糸よ、工作せよ。
はっはっとささ権限ここより登る。はっ
捕まえた。
雨描きがたし股間奥義。さい俺が守るよ。
どの目が出るかしら。かかれ。
せいはっふっさせいとはっ月のように。
Yeah, I think this is the. Did it actually say immune to crits? I just assumed that whatever element you use, like it becomes like resistant to it or something. Because yeah, like I was doing like no damage, but I was doing. No, actually, that's the weird thing, because basically my Milani was able to absolutely, fuck it up. Never mind. Arlecchino shouldn't be that bad. Arlecchino should have a decent crit stuff. I should have no crits. Yeah, I should. And then I think my Milani was doing crits anyway, because like Milani gets a huge crit buff regardless. And they were both using vaporizes, so unless maybe. maybe it can resist like two elements. Oh, actually, or maybe that's it. Is that it was absorbing? Maybe it was absorb. I don't know. Maybe it can absorb one element because it did seem to absorb fire. It did seem to have fire wings. So maybe that's the problem. Is that it absorbed fire, and so it was resistant to it. Whereas for Milani, it was absorbing fire, but that, who gives a shit because Milani is hydro, and so she was doing vaporizes, and so that not getting affected. But because Dea and Emily were constantly making it resistant to fire, Milani didn't matter. And because I did too much fire damage. And then like the water damage that Yalan and Chingcho are doing doesn't actually do much damage. It's nice, like it doesn't hurt. But like it's Arlecchino who's doing the really big damage, and so if it's heavily resistant to that, well, either way, now I know I'm not going to do that again. Not with that team. That's just a bad pairing. Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did give you a little tutorial about it. It's weird because it looks identical to the other the other thing that looks like a little ball. That's actually a core that powers other units or powers like shields and shit.
それ。星と深淵。ごめんなさい。きょ。
Not the ones that projectile, because like you're fighting the big cannon. There are these little cores that you can remove and put them into like these things on the ground, which creates a shield in front of you to protect you from cannons. And there's also other puzzles where you put the core in it. They essentially like power a reaction. So you either like power it to be red or power it to be blue, depending on the device. So like it either creates a shield or it turns on a device to make it red or blue, which then interacts with a nearby object to like repel or attract it. So I've seen a few puzzles like that. And the core is essentially that exact same thing, a tiny little small ball that you pick up and then insert into a slot. So that's why I was kind of thinking it was at first, but I didn't read the tutorial because I didn't think the tutorial was for that.
この同点も。同点についてのご質問。
夜でなくとも空が見えなくとも月の光はいつもそこにある。掃除の加護、渚のリン、リンヤの永遠の安寧を。
止水の矢、ふんははやはやふんやた、
しっかり立ってな。迷える者に防衛モード。渚のリン、邪魔をするな。
逃げられるかな。ふんちたふんやははふはふほやは
皆のために祈ろう。果物。行け。
絶縁障壁、
しっかり立ってな。
塵となってください。
やふん隙を見せるのはほんの一瞬だ。たふんほっふんやは来い。
No, I stream every day, but it depends on what I do. Like you see me mostly play Genshin on weekends. Well, I mean, like because like that's the time when like I have a lot of time. So usually what I'll do is I'll stream a game that is like a little more involved or like takes a lot more concentration and shit uh, during like the beginning part of the day, and then I'll do Genshin in the evening. Or yeah, I do. So I got off work, so I'm playing this now. I would be continuing more Borderlands 4, except Honkai Star Rail comes out with a new patch in about like an hour and a bit, and I haven't done my Genshin dailies. Like normally, I do my dailies like during my lunch break, and I got distracted and was doing something else. So I did my Zenless Zone Zero stuff, but I didn't do my Genshin stuff. So I was like, well, I have to do my Genshin dailies anyway, so I might as well just do my Genshin dailies, do more non-cry exploration, and then once like 7 o'clock ish Pacific hits, so about an hour and 20 minutes. That's approximately when Honkai Star Rail patch will go live, and then I'll swap over to that game. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much stream every day, but it just kind of depends on when. So obviously during weekdays, I'm a little more restricted. Let's see, how many of those oculi do I have? Well, okay, so I don't have enough. Do I have a key though? Mm, Shit, where are the keys? Keys in here. To a degree, yeah. I mean, that's generally kind of how live service games are, and that's kind of why I've changed how I played Genshin. Before, I would be like, oh, a new patch came out, and I would like 100% the zone within the first week. So all exploration would be done, and then, like, not surprisingly, it'd feel like there was nothing to do. I'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't even see that. I never it was at the top. Um, so that kind of happened, and then I realized I was just kind of getting burnt out with doing that, like just forcing myself to do all the exploration. Also, like this is when I had a little more free time. So like right now, I play. Yeah, we got that. I play a few like MiHoYo games, so a few gacha games, and gacha games in general are pretty like time consuming in the sense that you um, have like dailies and stuff to do. Oh, actually, and so like when I first played Genshin, like there was nothing else. It was just Genshin, and I think maybe I was playing Final Fantasy 14, and I've kind of gotten like burnt out in Final Fantasy 14 because I've just done so much stuff, and like all that's left are like just grinds, and like MMO grinds are just MMO grinds. So not the most enticing. Oh yeah, so darn, I didn't have key shit. So basically, like that's kind of what I was just doing. I would just do Genshin. I would just do Final Fantasy 14, and I've kind of gotten burnt out on Final Fantasy 14. I just don't want to do all the like the grindy shit. Do the things every single day, every single week. It just takes time. Although like when I do play it, I do enjoy it. Like if I go back and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do a frontline roulette, or I'll do this alliance raid, or I'll do some roulettes and stuff. Like the newest relic quest is like doing a bunch of roulettes, and it's not like I dislike them. It's not like actively doing it feels bad. Like I do enjoy playing the game, but like I've just done it so much that yeah. Well, I mean, technically yes, I have played it, but like realistically speaking, no, I haven't. Um, so like I played it a long time ago. I think it was when Burning Crusade came out during that expansion. I had a friend at work who was like, "Oh, hey, let's go play this. Like, let's go play this game." So I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll try it." And I tried it and I hated it. I was like, "Oh my god, this sucks. I don't want to play this." So I stopped. Was that it? Okay, that was it. I just didn't like the playstyle for it, so I stopped playing it. So like that was ages ago, and Yeah. Super, super, super long time ago. Um, and this was before I even played Final Fantasy 14 as well. Um, I mean, I guess that makes sense because I don't think it was out at that time. But and so like, and I tried. I'm like, yeah, I don't like this, so I stopped. I just like this is the time when you had to wait outside at the front of a dungeon shouting for a party, which is like, oh my god, that just sucks so much. And I like, oh hey, um, Elder Scrolls Online actually had the same problem too. Is that like at the start for like dungeons, you could not do them you had to do them co-op, but you could actually just enter them solo. You could enter them solo, but like enemies were scaled for co-op, so you just get absolutely wrecked. And you like to actually like do these dungeons, and which you really wanted to do because there was a quest involved that would give you a skill point. Uh, you had to like just wait outside the dungeon shouting for help. So it was very much like WoW in that sense. But then both WoW and Elder Scrolls Online just decided to actually put up a queuing system in game, so you wouldn't have to deal with that shit, which is good. But yeah, I just didn't like WoW's playstyle, like, and the like generally I don't really play games on computer, and so WoW had to be on computer, and I don't like WASD movement. Like it can be more precise, but it is really, I don't know, it just it just feels uncomfortable in my hands to constantly hold WASD to move around all the time. I'd just much rather have a joystick where I just have my one thumb just kind of tilting in one direction, which is a relaxing, nice, easy thing to do. And then, like, you have to, like, you have to contort your hands. Like, oh yeah, I'm moving with WASD, but then I also have to use that same hand to hit all my other buttons to do all my other actions. So it's like, yeah, I just never really liked that as conceptually. So I've never really been a mouse and keyboard player. Fuck. I thought I did this already. Ooh. Chest.
平等に分配しないことは争いにつながるものだが、私はいらないから持っていくといい。
Ow. Haha, can't get me. Oh, I see, so it just reactivates itself or something. Oh, I see, there's more to the quest. But yeah, but I did play it, and then there was, I had a friend who wanted to do, a party, like a New Year's party in WoW. So I did actually go back to WoW and level up a character. So I actually did, well, not like level up a character, but I did the free trial. And so I went through the new beginner area. It's like this is like a year or two ago, or 3 years ago. So I went through the new beginning starting zone area and did all that shit, just for the New Year's party. But then I immediately stopped because it just was not fun. Like the world, I mean, you pop out in Orgrimmar and it just looks fucking ugly as fuck. It's just like, it looks so bad. And like, it's cool that like WoW's world is that big, but it's so big and full of nothing. Oh yeah, it was terrible. We left anyway. Because I think the previous year, the dude played Final Fantasy, so we had like a party in Final Fantasy, and like in Final Fantasy, like parties look better because characters look better, the environments look better. There's so many more like things and things to do, and I think he was mostly a lot of his community was in Final Fantasy because he was a streamer, so we just didn't have that many people in WoW, and we didn't know no places to go, and just a lot of restrictions regarding WoW in general. So, like. Yeah, so there was stuff like that. But yeah, just the opening areas were kind of looked like shit, and they haven't really changed them, and so it looks terrible. And so it's like it's so big and open, but it's like it's just that's all it is. It's just big and open. There's nothing to do there. It's just And that's just kind of how MMOs were back in the day. They just wanted to be... Uh-oh.
飛ぶか。
Whoops. So yeah, so I did do that, and again, it's just like I didn't like mouse and keyboard, and I just didn't like the play style of the game. And of course, like I was free trial, so I was restricted to level 20, which is like stupid. Like their free trial is absolute trash. Like it's the free trial they've had forever, and they should re-update it because like Final Fantasy 14, I think is probably the best free trial like ever because you can play Final Fantasy 14, the base game, and the first two expansions for free, completely free. Like you just go to the free trial thing, you create a Square Enix account, and then you can log in and play the game for free up until so yeah, and it's and I get it because they're trying to avoid bots and stuff like that. And there already is like such a huge botting and gold market and all that shit. But Final Fantasy doesn't really worry about that because they don't really sell gear and gold. Like so, basically, Gil doesn't have as much of value because you can't like buy power, which is basically the reason why you get gold in WoW is so you can buy power in the form of equipment and stuff. So you can't really do that in Final Fantasy because that's just not how it's designed. And so it's just not as big a thing, so they don't have to worry about bots too much. And even if they do, they still like do their own thing. But basically, in that free trial, you can. So the max level is 100 now, but like the first base game is playing the base game gets you to level 50. The first two expansions get you another 10 levels on top of that, so you can get to level 70. And it doesn't like remove content. So like all the content that exists in the base game, it still exists. All the trials, raids, all that shit's still there. Same for the first two expansions. All that content is still there, you know, and you can do all of that for free, unlimited playtime. The only time you actually start having to pay a subscription is when you purchase the next expansions. Like when you actually purchase an expansion, then you actually have to start paying a subscription. But you can play up to level 70, do all the content in there, play for thousands of hours, doing like literally everything the game has to offer for free. Like it is insanely good deal. Um, like it's one of the best free trials just ever. Like you just and they expanded upon it too because it used to be just the base game and the first expansion, Heavensward, which had a level cap of 60. But then they were like, okay, well, like we've gotten a few expansions beyond that, so we're just going to include the next expansion as well. So now it's the base game plus two expansions worth of content that you can play for free, and then just when you feel like you want to play the newest expansions, then you can purchase it and then start paying a subscription. Okay. So I just gotta grab the balls. Gotcha. Yeah, and the problem with WoW too is that like so much of the game is in the end game. So much of the content is in the end game. Plus the fact that so like you can't really do much. Plus the fact that they cannibalize Plus the fact that they cannibalize their own game. So like you can't. I mean, you can go play Classic and you can play the first 3 expansions, but you can't. You can't play. And I think maybe Cataclysm, or maybe they're adding the Cataclysm. They're putting Cataclysm in putting Cataclysm in Classic. But basically, before Classic existed, you could not play the first few expansions. And when you started a new game, you just started like on the current expansion or the expansion right before. Like I think when I did my free trial, after I beat the first thing, they gave me, and I think this was in Dragonflight, I think maybe, or maybe it was still in Shadowlands was existing, around there. But basically, the first main story quest they give me was taking me to the Battle for Azeroth expansion. So like, WoW had like 10 expansions, and they're like, hey, cool, you're a new game, you've done the new game arena, cool. Now we're going to take you to expansion number 7, and that's where your journey will start, in expansion 7. So it's just like completely ignoring expansions 1 through 7. You have no clue what's going on at all. And like they had some methods to kind of like relive the story, but it was just kind of like this broken up, like shortened, like chromey thing where it was like you're not really experiencing the entirety of it. Like if you wanted to do it, whereas so it cannibalizes itself, and then basically it stopped you from being able to play that, and then releases. Oh, hey, guess what? Now you can play it. It's like, oh, great. So you just released the content you already released. Cool. And you're like saying that's like a feature for some reason. So like that's kind of what Blizzard does. Is they just resell you stuff they've already released and be like, look, it's the same thing you've done before, but slightly different. You know, please get a subscription, which I think is just a little scummy. Like, but you know, it's whatever, right? Whereas like Final Fantasy 14 doesn't, because Final Fantasy 14 is like all about its narrative. It's all about its story. So if you just started like at you know at the halfway through, you'd be like you wouldn't have the emotional involvement. So it's like you actually are having your character start from nothing, and yeah, and it's just a way to like play the story. And I'm not even sure how classic works. Like I don't know if the current classic is if you go into classic, like can you play through the base game and then you play through the expansion, like through each expansion. So do you play the base game, play through the story of the base game, then play through Burning Crusade, then play through Wrath of Lich King? Like, is that how classic works? Like are you actually playing through each expansion, or is it just like you start classic and you just put straight into Wrath of the Lich King expansion? So I'm not quite sure. If it is still a linear progression, then that's at least something. But it just kind of sucks. And I do like Final Fantasy for that thing, is that you can just the game in its entirety still exists. Like any content that was ever released in the past still exists, with the exception of like seasonal events. So like they have like Christmas events and stuff. Like if you missed the Christmas of 2020, then yeah, you missed that Christmas event. Whoops. But like all main story content, all battle content, all that stuff still exists. If it was released, it still exists in the game. You can still play it in the game. Oh, okay. So that was the kind of like that was another turnoff for me, is that like if I was going to play WoW, I would want to play it from the beginning. I want to start at the very very beginning, and then play through Burning Crusade, then play through Wrath of Lich King, then play through Cataclysm, then and just play through every expansion until I got to the current stuff, right? Because like I want to know how things have progressed. Yeah, and that's kind of like the problem with how they've done it, is that now, and especially now that they have their own classic servers, there's no incentive for them to ever bring those expansions to retail at all. They've now become completely separate experiences. And maybe you can, I mean, hopefully you can share characters. So hopefully you can level a character in classic and then bring them into retail. I don't know if that's possible, but and even still, you'd still be missing expansions in the middle. You'd play the first few expansions, and then you miss some middle expansions, and then you play through the last, which is like, okay, that's weird. Um, so it's just, and it's because they've never really built themselves up as like a story game. They've kind of built themselves up as like a raiding game, and like and all that shit and all that stuff happens at the end game. So they just been like, oh well, since most people are interested in raiding and end game, we're just kind of like not going to pay attention to the rest of the stuff and just not have it or cut it out so we can focus on the end game, which is like it's fine for existing players because like that's what existing players want. But for a new player experience, it does kind of suck because you're just like you're leaving people with like no idea what's going on. They have like no clue who any of the characters are. They have no clue why you're being called the hero of Azeroth. It's just like, what is all this, and then it ends up just being a lore dump as you're trying to like figure out stuff. And then I also don't like it that they do a lot of um, story explanations outside of the game. So like they release books and stuff, and it's like it's fine if they're just like little extra little bits where it's like, oh yeah, sure, like here's this thing, or here's this character who's like a minor NPC in the game. Here's a story about them, that we think this character is cool. We're just gonna write a story, but like some of the stuff actually like it matters because they like reveal lore stuff that this never gets explained in game. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing. It's the mentality. Whereas in Final Fantasy, you'll get the stink eye. You'll get people like being shocked and surprised if you go up and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a story skipper," or I skipped the story. I bought a skip, and I just played the new thing. You get a lot of people going, oh, sacrilege, because like the story is such a strong thing and you play it through linearly. I think actually Elder Scrolls Online has a really good way of doing it. Like there is a kind of a a somewhat of a linear story for the main story, where it's like, yeah, sure, you're progressing through all that shit. But really, realistically, for every single expansion they've done, for the most part, um, it's all like been contained within a year. So it's like if you want to do the Elsewhere expansion, you just start. Well, I guess yeah. If you just do you want to do the Elsewhere expansion, you can just go straight to Elsewhere. Like right from the beginning, you can be like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna go because everything syncs with your level, so you can do everything out of order. But there is still an order. Like you can still do it in order, although it's harder to keep track of them because of how weird it is. Like because of how non-linear it is. If you don't know which expansions released when, you might have a hard time keeping track. But generally, you can do each expansions out of order, somewhat. Like there are some references. Like I did it up to, I think I did Elsewhere, and then I kind of stopped playing after that. But it was really good. It's not like I didn't like it, but it was just I had so many games I was playing that I was just like I realized all I was doing was logging in to get my daily bonus rewards and just logging out. And I was like, if I'm just doing that, then why am I even playing this game? So I just stopped. But I really did enjoy it, and you could do it. And then at this point, I got so backed up. I'm just like, oh man, like I like exploring and stuff, but it just takes so much time to do. And even though I enjoy doing it, it just takes time. So, and the unfortunate thing is, I created my character on the European server because I think when Elder Scrolls Online first came out for console, the America servers were just absolutely jammed, so logging in took forever. So me and my friend just created European server accounts, so because we were able to create an account, and like I progressed all my characters on that, and like Sprint got crowns for it, and bought microtransactions and stuff. And there's literally no way to transfer that character from Europe to the North American servers. So like the Europe ones have like a kind of a shitty ping, and it's kind of a little laggy, which can be kind of rough in some combat situations, especially if you want to like solo content you really shouldn't be soloing. It can be challenging. So that was kind of like another straw that broke the camel's back. But they did a good job about telling a relatively non-linear story where you could just be like, yeah, you can focus on the main stuff, but you really, I mean, and you kind of want to do all the expansion in one go. Like you want to do I did Greymore. I did the Greymore expansion too. But you do you'd want to focus on doing one expansion in its entirety, but like you could do any expansion in any order, and it doesn't really matter because they are kind of like their own independent stories. Like Greymore was just about vampires in Skyrim, and stuff like that, whereas Elsewhere was about dragons, and I think the High Isle was just about the Bretons and something. I never actually played through it that much, so I'm not sure what the story for it was. And then like there was the Oblivion one too, or the like we had to go through Oblivion gates and fight Mehrunes Dagon, I think. But yeah, you could do them in any order, so that was kind of cool. Cool way of doing it. The story actually mattered and was interesting, but you could still do it in any order. Whereas Final Fantasy is like very, very linear. Like you start at the beginning and you have to go through because everything builds upon each other. No, like I say, Genshin does it very much like Final Fantasy, where Final Fantasy you have to do them. Final Fantasy you have to do it linearly because like it's building a story. So it depends on like there are some advantages to doing it there's advantages to doing either way. Like the cool thing is like Final Fantasy when it did its Endwalker expansion, it was like incredibly popular because Shadowbringers was really good. It built up its lore, and then Endwalker culminated with this like big, amazing climactic end where it kind of like ended a storyline that kind of started when the game first came out, like 8 years prior. So it was like cool. It's like a lot of hype, and it's that kind of stuff that you can do when you have that long overarching plot. Whereas like with Elder Scrolls Online, each expansion is all pretty self-contained, so there's not really much suspense. There's not really much build-up. There's not really much like interconnectivity you can have while still trying to keep them isolated and independent from each other. So like it's understandable. Each have their own advantage. Oh, I see. I caught up to it. So yeah, each have their own advantage. Like I think Genshin is fine the way it is because like I do like how the story is progressing, and it would be weird if you just started Natlan like directly after Mondstadt. Like that would make no sense. Um, so I do like the linear stories because they usually have a better build and payoff. It does kind of get rough for Genshin because unfortunately Genshin's on a is a live service game, much like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy and Genshin both have the same problem too, is that they don't release content that quickly. So like expansions come out every few years for Final Fantasy. Genshin has patches every 6 weeks. So it's just like by the time we get to the end of Genshin, like the end of Genshin is still probably like a year or two, well, like 2 to 3 years away. And so like it'll be tough because like there's a lot of stuff and a lot of like payoff, like where it's like, oh hey, you remember that plot thread that happened in Leeway with like that underwater creature that we had to beat, that child like spurned forth and all that shit. Like maybe that creature we beat rears its ugly head again, and we have to beat it again. If they did something like that, a lot of people who played at the very beginning of the game might have forgotten about that thing. That like the Myriad Lord or whatever it was called. Yeah. So it gets tough when it's an extended when it's being told over an extended period of time, and like to encapsulate it into the patches and releases they do. Oftentimes you have to tell a story that maybe gets stretched or squished too much. And so if you were able to put the entire story in one game, like if you were able to just release it, like Final Fantasy the game, like a single player game, single player RPG, they could maybe like fine tune the dialogue and make it more compact and less like MMO, like fetch quests and stuff like that. Like you could do that. And same for like Genshin. It's like, yeah, if you were just gonna, I mean, the Archon quests are fine by themselves, but can definitely be times where you're like, oh, I think they stretched this a little bit. Like they didn't really need this quest, but they want to make these quests like take 2 to 3 hours, so they maybe added something that is not really necessary just to like stretch for time. I think Genshin doesn't have as big a problem with that. I think Final Fantasy does have a little bit of that, where like sometimes the dialogue can be a little lengthy or excessive because it feels like they're like just trying to make sure it lasts a certain amount of time, which just doesn't happen for single player games because it's like no, they just typically they make the story as long as it needs to be, to get the story across. No need to stretch for time, as it were. And that's why people kind of complained about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creeds, because they were adding in all these like collectibles and stuff to basically stretch game time. Yeah, but I mean, Paimon yapping. The whole point of Paimon is she's supposed to be our voice box, so that the main character doesn't have to speak, so we don't have to ask questions. Paimon asks the questions on our behalf. Also, like Paimon's an idiot, so it's like, oh yeah, Paimon's an idiot, so that's why she's asking these questions because she's an idiot, and they don't want to make the main character an idiot, so they just make Paimon the idiot, so that they will ask the questions to basically let the player know the stuff that they wouldn't be aware of. I really hate this Kuvaki mechanics. Like, yeah, there you go. I'm here. It's like, it's just, it's way too annoying. Like, you just don't target things when you think you should. You're just like, come on, like, target, like, I'm right here. It's like, oh, I'm not close enough. It's like, well, make the plant closer then. Realistically, I should be able to interact with it the second we were told to go there. So the finicky of the controls, where you're like, oh yeah, you have to get your Kuvaki power charged up, and then you can interact with some of the like red and blue stuff. But sometimes the targeting for it is just like not super responsive and way too responsive. So 1 second, I need to go to the bathroom and get myself some more water. So I will be back in a minute or two. Okay, I'm back.
ことは争いにつながるものだが、ないから持っていくといい。 風が立つぞ。
Let's see if I can try resetting it. I think I fucked up the mall, which I've always found this kind of annoying. This is like this. Okay, cool. He did reset. Uh, the problem I've had with this mole is that like they go off, right? He goes off and like is not at the location. Oh, I see. He's here because the oh, is that it? Did I just not follow him? Oh, I see. Now I have to. Okay. Not here. Let's probably chuck it at this mole, right? Yeah, I think I. Damn. Oh, that's all. Oh yeah, I was thinking I reset. I didn't. It's like he wasn't moving, so maybe I didn't see him go off there, so I didn't know. So I was trying to interact with these holes still. But yeah, save quitting, reset it. I fucking hate the mechanics of this are so fucking annoying to deal with. Where it's like, yeah, it just like doesn't do it. Like it just stopped arbitrarily. It's like, yeah, it was almost at the thing, and then just falls down and drops. It's like what? And then like I keep pressing the button, and it doesn't fucking press. And it's like, the mechanics are just so unresponsive and so gimmicky. Where it's just like I just really wish they were more like consistent. Like the fact that it keeps failing over and over again, it's just like the Sumeru grapple was much more responsive. Fontaine didn't really have any like mechanic like that. Same for Natlan. I don't think Natlan did. But yeah, like the timing and just the responsiveness of the controls, it's so weird and vague. And the fact that like you're not imbued with the power, you have to be like next to something. So if you move farther, too far away, then everything gets fucked and screwed, and then just the controls just don't feel good. Nah, I just didn't have much time. Yeah, it was the third time I pressed the button. But yeah, I'm no Borderlands today because I have to do. Because I want to play the. I want to play Honkai Star Rail when the patch comes out, and I hadn't done my Genshin daily, so it's like I have to log into Genshin anyway after work, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to do Genshin, I still have some exploration and stuff to do, so I might as well just do that. Log into Genshin. I'm logging into Genshin anyway, and I'll probably play more Borderlands tomorrow, or I don't know. I might play Honkai Star Rail because I actually really do like Honkai Star Rail. I like the story for that a lot. So I might focus more on Honkai Star Rail until at least I finish the story of the game. Because the story of the game seems to be reaching a conclusion for Ampharos. So it's been pretty interesting and trippy, and so I'm curious how it will end. And it seems like if it's not this patch, it'll be the next patch. So it's getting up there. So I'm pretty looking forward to it. So I might just focus. I'll probably do that a bit today, like an hour or two today, and then a few more hours tomorrow. But then maybe by Wednesday or Thursday, I should probably be done with Honkai Star Rail story at least, and then I'll get back to doing a little bit of Borderlands, trying to level up to 50.
ロックオン。今だ。せい。やっ。コレクションに加えよう。アクセル全開。よっ。はっ。へっ。飛ぶか。
Actually, I gotta bring up my interactive map so I can mark this off so I don't have to come back and find the one if I'm missing one.
ちょっとなまってきたな。どこかに調停人の出番はないか？
Nah, they shouldn't. They shouldn't at all. I don't think they should. Because basically, what the interactive map is cheating. It's quite literally telling you where everything is. Like, they shouldn't make it that easy for you. Because people, if you can do it, people would do it. And I don't think you should. I keep, because, like, I have the interactive map just so I can get everything. And there are in-game things to basically do what I'm doing. Right? There's the, these things. You know, so if you need oculi, you could just craft a shitload of these. So you could, like, if you know, oh, there's 100 oculi in this area, you could just craft 100 of these and then just go from one to the next to the next to the next. So it's like, and then with the treasure compass tells you everything as well. So I could do that, but I'm cheap and lazy, so I don't want to craft. I don't like using consumables like that. So they have in-game ways of doing it. So I don't think they should add something like that, because it essentially would. Oops, sorry. Oh, can I destroy that? Oh, I could. So I think adding it would just be a little too reductive, because it would just make it too easy to just look things up, and so people would stop like doing it themselves. Again, for me, I only use the interactive map to log what I've already found, for the most part. Obviously, if I go everywhere and I'm like, cool, I've explored all the places, but I don't remember seeing, like, I'm still missing an oculi or two, sure, I might go to the interactive map and be like, okay, which ones am I missing? But because I logged it, I do know at the very least which ones I've found, and so I can look for the ones that I haven't. But, I mean, realistically, at that point, if it's like, oh yeah, you're missing 5, well, I could just craft 5 of those things. So it's like, I think adding it would be a detriment to the game, because people would stop actually looking. Like, people would stop, because like, I do think some of the joy of this game, I like the exploration, I do like wandering around. I have a friend who actually, like, uses the interactive map to find, like, literally every chest. So, like, they have the interactive map open, and they're, like, like, whenever they have a new area, they're, like, constantly going through and, like, going from one chest to the next. Like, oh, okay, there's a chest here, so I'm going to go there. There's a chest here, now I'm going to go over there. And it's like, that's just, like, so not fun for me. Like, I think what the enjoyment I have is like wandering around, seeing the chest, being like, "Ooh, there's a chest. Let me go get it." You know, doing all that shit. Yeah, and it's just like, and I understand, like, it's definitely the most efficient way of doing it, and it's the way to make sure you get everything. But I'd rather miss a chest or two and have a more enjoyable experience than like knowing exactly. Yeah, and there are people who like doing it like methodically like that to be like feel a greater sense of satisfaction knowing that yes, they've gotten everything. And like I could also like keep the interactive map open and mark off the chests I found, and then do it like my oculi. It's like I'll find all the ones I naturally can, just marking the ones I found, and then once I've found everything I can find naturally, I'll go back and I could go through and do it. It's not as efficient, but yeah. Well, luckily for this, at the very least, your map percentage shows 100% far earlier than it needs to be. Like you have like a bunch of extra chests, so you don't have to find literally every single chest to get 100%, which is like that's fine. Like that's good. Like I want to be able to find most of them, not because it's just kind of rough. Although now with the how much they've improved the compass, it's like it's not nearly as bad because even if you do not, even if you choose not to use the interactive map, the compass is getting better and better so that you don't really need it anymore. Um, Only if you want to be like the most efficient, where you're like, okay, I'm going from here to here to here to here. I have my route planned so that I can go from one chest to the next and get everything. But I find more enjoyment just by wandering around and finding them myself. And I don't really like games that like kind of to do like to get 100% completions you need to have a guide because like some of the stuff is too well the compass puts the treasure marker on your minimap now. So before it kind of sucked. Before it was just it'd be a little line in a direction and you're like, okay, cool, like I can go in that direction. Maybe you'll find it, maybe you won't because maybe it's at a different well, if it was elevation, the line still points in the elevation. But now, when you use your treasure compass, it puts a sticker on the map for where the treasure chest is. So it stays on the map. So it's like it's pretty good. Yeah, when it was a line, it was kind of rough because it was a line and the cooldown for its use was way too long. So I think they've reduced the cooldown. Yeah, yeah, not quite's gotten even better, but I think even just the one they had evolved to the point of Natlan was pretty good. Like I'd say, even the Natlan one was really good. It keeps them. It can find multiple at once, so it's not just like, oh, okay, you use your treasure compass to find one, and it just so happened to be right next to you, and then you have to wait a long cooldown to use it again to find another one that's like relatively close by. It's like I think they've improved it. I think they've lowered the cooldown for it. Or no, actually, it might not be that they lowered the cooldown for it. I think it's that when you find the treasure, it resets the cooldown. I'll have to double check. I'll have to test it again. I mean, I don't know. I think the only thing that's similar is the black hair. I don't even think that's the same color black hair too. Oh shit. Oh no, I think that's the. Wait, no, is Ino's event over? So is that an actual thing I haven't done? Yeah, I think there might have been. I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of children. I'm sure they've reused styles, but also her eyes are different. Yeah, see, Jingling has darker hair and different eyes. Not even just color, but like the eyelashes too. Oh no, that is for Inos. It's not over. Oh no, I guess it was like 8 days, wasn't it? Like yeah, it's still the end of this week. It was like 8 days when I completed it, so I had another week to go. I mean, it's not that surprising because Inefa is a robot. Now it is, and they made her. But yeah, like these ones, they are fairly rudimentary, so they're not like super intelligent. But like, I mean, we have Sandrome with her robot, so like they have a variety of levels of robot and machine intelligences. Although it is curious how like she's able to give like this one, how they're able to give them even a semblance of a personality. No, I think the whole point is this one didn't have feelings, right? Like this, when we did this quest, it was like it had imprinted, so it's mimicking the behavior of someone it knew, and that's the someone that it knew was kind of a dick. So that's why it's also kind of a dick. Yeah, I've seen that one. Where she says if she puts more sugar in the crumb cakes, there'll be less sugar in the crumb cakes.
風が立つぞ。いや。
Oh, thank you. I shall. It was nice chatting with you again. Have some fun. Yeah, I'll definitely be on tomorrow. Playing more. I mean, I still have to do my daily, so I'll be logging into. Let's see. What if I have to do? I guess I have to do more Zone the Sun Zero events. I think I'm caught up on Genshin events, so the only thing I need to do is just dailies and then exploration. And then just a lot of Honkai Star Rail story to do.
飛ぶか。加速するぞ。
ああ、キラキラで美しいな。ああ、キラキラで美しいな。
Yeah, like, what is this? Why is this not working? It's like, yeah, you're supposed to interact with it, but it's like it's not doing the thing. Why am I not? Why is this not? I just don't get it. Why is this not doing the thing? I'm supposed to interact with this, and it's not working. Unless maybe I need to interact with all three?
.平等に分配しないことは争いにつながるものだが、私はいらないから持っていくといい。
Oh, I see. I don't need the thingy. Oh, do I just collect this? Oh, so then that core is completely useless then.
風が立つぞ。
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put a pause in this for now because I'm pretty sure the Honkai Star Rail patch is now live. So let's just go do that. Okay, so I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go play some Honkai Star Rail. Thank you all for watching, and I will be right